Hello, please welcome to our lovely show, Arctic McCoy. Thank you for taking time out of your day to do an interview with us. We have a lot of questions that have been collected from all forms of life, and we would love to hear what you have to say about your life and what's going on currently. Before we get started, this is a disclaimer to the audience. Do not retaliate in reaction to any of the names, locations, and personal information shared today. The truth will be shared unfiltered as it should be. Now let's begin. Can you tell us more about your backstory and being involved in the kinky community?
Of course. So I have been in the kink lifestyle since 2009. So I've spent quite a few years developing and growing as a person, as well as my skills and my assets. I will say that my past is not squeaky clean. I will say that I've made a lot of mistakes in the past. I've made a lot of enemies over my time frame, and I've realized a lot of wrongdoings that I have done to evolve to where I was back then to where I am now. But I will say that I have issued apologies. I've worked towards being a better person. I have gone through therapy, and I have worked on evolving from the mistakes of the past that I've done to where I am today. So I have a lot of years. I'm a seasoned veteran at a lot of different things, and I will say that despite what things and shortcomings and the stuff that I've gone through in the past to where I am now, I have evolved to being a much better person, much more understanding, and maturity-wise, I've really grown up in a lot of different ways. So, my, I guess, place in the King community is one that's a strong leader and very thankful to be where I am today.
What does the HOA represent to you?
So the HOA stands for House of Asmodeus. It is my organization. It is also a form of my repentance for my actions and for things that I've done in the past. So you may not know this, but the House of Asmodeus, the organization, is my way of giving back to the community to be able to foster peace and understanding and for atonement. So I have, as I mentioned, I have gone through things of my past. I have done incredibly things that have offended people, things that have hurt people, and I've made my apologies and I made my condolences, and I've talked with people. I've worked through things, but I was told by a very wise friend that actions speak louder than words. Actions speak louder than words, and so I worked on building something that I can be proud of, as well as being able to demonstrate through my actions that what we stand for of HOA is a place to people to be able to socialize, to be able to grow, understand more about the community, and it's to be a place of belonging for everybody.
What inspired you to make a group like this so sex forward?
In our community, all throughout the land, I've noticed there's a lack of people being able to sexually connect with other people. There are even some people that don't even know what sex is. There is a lot of people that are socially awkward, myself included, and not being able to have the outing to be able to talk and communicate with people in a sexual manner or forward manner. A lot of us don't have the social skills to be able to go to a bar and pick up people or be online for dating. So I wanted to create something that allowed people to go from where they're at and socially wanting to belong to a world to being able to sexually belong and have opportunities to grow, not only sexually but socially as well.
What did you see that made you feel like a group like this was needed?
Um, well, honestly, it became something I've noticed at events that I was attending. Like, for example, um, I used to be a part of Kinky Game Night, or I attended Kinky Game Night, and I noticed that that event got rid of the ability to have sexual play, sexual intercourse, and it was one of the places where I felt really, really like you have the BDSM element side of things, but you also have the sex side of things. So I wanted to have a place where you can be able to be sexual and be able to do intimate things with people. So I got into wanting to provide that because it didn't exist anymore. A lot of places where when you want to be intimate with a person that you really connect well with and gel well with, there's not like, mattresses for you to be able to play or rooms for you to be able to do such in. So the more that I began to understand my BDSM journey and my kink lifestyle journey, and going to events weren't really having that. So I wanted to be able to foster that kind of thing. So it definitely became more prevalent as events were changing to be more focused on other areas outside of intimacy. So I wanted to be the change that I wanted to see in the world.
What could I expect at your events?
Well, to actually have a good time. So we pride ourselves at the HOA in being able to provide hospitality, a place for you to feel welcome, feel loved, to be able to play games, to be treated as a equal, as an individual. So like a lot of discrimination happens and a lot of like ignoring new people or ignoring people's existence happens at bigger venues and bigger places. So I wanted to have my events be to the size that you could be able to come in, be welcomed, be cherished, be able to have something to eat and munch on for snacks, be able to play games, to be able to socialize, be able to broadcast what your needs are or what you're looking for. That being, being green as in like you're more than happy to play with people, or being yellow like you're demisexual, you want to connect with people, or like you're blue, you're a wallflower, you're shy, you wanting to blossom out but you need a little bit of help. Whatever your human needs are, we wanted to be able to tailor to that individual so they can be welcomed and cherished, and also have a space to be able to play. So openly, most of our events usually take place in like hotels and such. So you have the ability to come to an event, to have your intimate needs filled, your sexual needs filled, your emotional socializing needs filled. Whatever it is that you came to be able to enjoy an event for, it's on a small scale enough for you to be able to be welcome and accepted without having to deal with being ignored or not having necessarily a good time. I would say expect to be able to at least have a positive environment and wonderful, friendly atmosphere. No matter what your desire to be there is, we tailor and take care of everyone because we genuinely care about people, and that's something that's important to me as a leader and organizer.
Other than the icebreakers and dirty jenga, what is the best way to be involved to fit in or approach somebody?
Oh, well, it depends on your ability to talk, your ability to communicate, your ability to share mutual respect to people, no matter what it is, like your respect towards a person of their of like the event itself. So like for example, you approach someone, you mention and start conversation by saying, "Hey, how's it going?" You develop a sort of connection with people. You don't have to just rely on the social games that's there. A lot of people let the bracelets that we have do the talking for them. So, for example, depending on what color what color you have, people know how to approach you. People know how to engage with you and your comfort level, kind of just based off of that. You don't have to have the social skills to be top notch and be able to like fraternize and like flirt and get all the people. Instead, you can just be yourself. So I would say approach wise, doesn't matter what background you're coming from or your level of experience, just being yourself and talking with people and seeing how things go is one of the best ways to engage with people.
What struggles do you face in breaking ground for your community and ideals?
Well, I would say um, reputation. I will share with you that, like I said, I've come from some very dark places. I've done some dark things, and I have tried my best to make sure to make amends. I tried my best to make sure to not only apologize to those that I've hurt, but also recognize that I have done damage, and I I recognize that I, in some people's eyes, may not be a good person. I may be seen as a villain. I may be seen as a bad guy, but I have, I've, I've done hard to better myself. Um, I have apologized and made amends to those I have wronged. I have let my actions be the example of what I'm wanting to set for not only myself but for my community. Um, I have made it to where I am not in it just for myself. I'm in it for those two that have suffered from having not the best um, situations happen to them, um, making of mistakes and trying to be better and trying to work on being socially awkward. Um, the ideals and the different things that I've set for my organization are the improvements upon my mistakes, um, the things that I've done wrong in life, the things that I've wanted to be better at. Um, I've set it to where my events help those that are like me, cast outs, or I guess outcasts. I've been breaking new ground in not only Wisconsin but other states as well. And I will say some of the challenges have been um, I don't socialize much online. I don't have the presence of social media. I don't um, get out to other events that often, so I can't really um, network in that way. And so instead of trying to focus on the negative of my life or the negative things that people have said about me, which I am aware that people actively hate me and actively don't like the fact that I'm trying to succeed or do something with the community. And a lot of these people also take advantage of the fact that I am not socially present, has been one hard challenge. I Instead of trying to let my actions speak for me, let the community speak for itself, I've let things grow to where people can feel welcome and people can feel included, and I've just wanted to try to make the world a better place. And I realize that even in the things that I've done wrong, I can still have worth, I can still have value, and I can still make things matter in this world.
What is the McDonald's effect for volunteers?
Oh, that's a good one. Okay, so check this out. Um, Say, for example, you work at a McDonald's and everybody knows what their schedule is. It is everybody needs to be on deck by 11 because um, noon rush happens and we get slammed. We get our butts kicked. So at 11, everybody needs to be there. So we let everybody know to be there by a certain time frame. Well, if, for example, we get close to 11 and almost everybody's here, but there are some people that are not here. 11 hits. It's prep time. We got to get ready. We have to get things, dropped, things ready because the noon rush is going to be coming. We count on people to be in their places, to be there, to be ready, to be good to go, and they know what time frame that has been set for them to arrive. We expect people to be grown adults to plan their lives accordingly to be there by that time and not let anything be there late. So it happens. Now it's noon. Lunch rush is happening. People are busy. People are scrambling. It is crazy. Everybody's in their stations. Everybody's holding out the best they can. We are getting our butts kicked. It is hectic. It's busy. We are dependent on the people that are there, and because we schedule things out, we need those people in their places. Well, after getting our butts kicked for 40 minutes straight, we kind of have a little bit of a lull, and we can be able to calm down just a little bit. Well, boom, front door opens. In walks in this lovely employee of ours who decided that instead of preparing and be there ahead of time like we needed them, they're just going to waltz on it. Hey, how's it going, guys? How y'all doing? The one person and the one employee that we were expecting to be there to handle the fries while we were getting our butts kicked decides to walk in later than they were supposed to be there. And basically ignorant of the fact that we were counting on them. They knew it, and they are just blissfully unaware of their lateness, basically almost shutting down the entire production where we were all counting on them as a team. And this person not aware of the damage that they cause with their actions of being late and tardy and unaccountable, just walks up to you and be like, hey guys, I came into work today. I'm here. I'm glad to be here. Just thank you for having me. It's such a wonderful day. And it's like everybody now is pissed. Everybody now is upset. But we can't show it towards this person because we are in the midst of getting our butts kicked of having to recover. We now have to make everything okay. We have to be friendly, like this person didn't just cause us huge turmoil and headache. Everybody has at one point in their lives when they worked had a one person that they were counting on come in later than they were supposed to. And basically everyone had to be fake friendly towards this person because of their actions. After all that happens, of course, they get scolded or they get talked to. But I let all my staff know that do not have this McDonald's effect to where you are that one person people were counting on to be there, and you knew that, and you knew what time you were supposed to be there, and you still let everybody down because they had to carry on through without you, and you had the nerve to just walk in like everything's fine. So whatever you do, and this is for any job that you work or any event that you volunteer for, do not, I repeat, do not be that one employee or that one person who lets everybody down because of your actions and then just pretends like everything is okay showing up late when people were counting on you. Organize your life, plan your life the best you can. Your commitment is important to everybody. Always remember that.
Are you a cult leader?
Honestly, I would say no. Because I guess I see a cult leader as somebody that's like leading people to salvation or like to the promised land, and they have to like sacrifice their lives or something like that. But I wouldn't say I'm a cult leader. I'd say I'm a revolutionary. I'm definitely one that visions a better world for people, and through their own actions and their own beliefs and their own strengths that they can achieve it. I believe that I shouldn't hold all the power. I believe other people should hold the power. I believe life is what you make it, and I'm not pushing my beliefs on everybody else. I'm just basically bringing out what people are wanting in life from themselves. So I wouldn't say that I'm a cult leader.
Are you a rapist?
Wow. No, I'm not. I don't know that. So there's a story behind that, and I know where the source of where that one came from. So there was a person, and I preface this by saying that there are a lot of people in my life that I've met along my journeys that have not been mentally sound or mentally with it, and we don't find out until like meeting that person, sometimes first volunteering. So there was a person in my life that was coming to one of my events to be able to help out. She was someone that I had been talking to before, and someone that I, felt a strong connection towards. Well, when it came to like the bedroom aspect of it, it was a no-go for me. I was just not okay with this person, and I told them, unfortunately, that the connection between me and them was not going that way, and it wasn't happening. We were still respectful, and we still let that person sleep, but that person showed some severe signs of having some mental issues of just, I don't know what it was, but that person was just like really, really off. So me and the other volunteers dropped the person off at their house. I let the person know through message. I appreciate them, and I appreciate them from coming out, to be with us, but it's just definitely not a good fit, and I wish them the best. That same person, I remember actually going online and telling everybody, oh, he's a rapist. He basically violated my consent. It was a horrible time. Watch out for him. He's a predator. And I said to myself, I'm not any of those things. Literally, things just didn't work out, and I respectfully said so. But because this person decided to be one of those that will blast your reputation and blast your life to everybody and try to create as much negative publicity as possible, I have told many people who have tried to listen to this person that no, I'm not a rapist in any way, shape, or form. In fact, I denied this person in the sexual intimacy of that because I let him know that it wasn't right and I didn't feel it. So no, I am not a rapist. In fact, I actually educate on consent. I am one of the strong advocates that people, in any way, shape, or form, if it's a hesitant yes, or if it is not a yes, and there's hesitancy in any way, shape, or form, just cut it. Just don't. I am such a strong, firm believer that people consent is everything. So it's like the fact that this one person was so hung up on trying to badmouth me and try to destroy my reputation in that way to say that I'm a rapist. No, I'm not a rapist. I guess I am a selectionist. I don't know. No. If a person isn't consenting and a person isn't interested, I move the fuck on. Like and that's one of the things that I advocate for everybody. Last thing you want is in any way, shape, or form somebody to actually believe that you do that and for your actions to actually cause that to happen. So no, I'm not a rapist at all.
What happened to your burlesque career?
Well, it was a very, very rough time in my life. It was some of the best times and it was some of the worst times. To be honest, I had a 4-year career run. I met a lot of incredible people along the way. I've done a lot of incredible things. I've also made a lot of incredible stupid mistakes. I offended a lot of people. I have, if I was to tell you the short story of it, my ex-girlfriend, Emily Caruso, was huge in the burlesque community. Probably still is to this day. Me and her, we blossomed well together. Me and her also had a falling out. She had very powerful ties to the venue that I was at, known as the Crucible. It was one of those situations where I realized it was brought to my attention that people throughout my career felt like I was flirty with them, that I was romantic with them, and that I came off as pushy and judgy. I didn't realize this, and being the way that I was already kind of distancing myself emotionally from people and from that type of behavior. So when things boiled over to a point where Emily Caruso felt a need to broadcast my name in a horrible light to everyone, everybody became very offended and everybody became very upset, and understandably so, because I hadn't realized that my actions of being in the burlesque community was causing such turmoil and such pain for people. So not only did I issue a statewide apology, I also took it upon myself to get help, get therapy, and do what was right to make up for the wrongs that I had done and for the people that I had wronged. So in response to that, not only did my burlesque troupe drop me, but they made it publicly known that I was a terrible person, that I was horrible, and that I was a predator, and I had no redeeming human qualities. I was made public enemy number one. I realized that I was in the wrong, and I apologized wholeheartedly. And to make up for it, I left a burlesque career behind. I didn't realize I caused so much harm to people, but they made me to be a monster. I didn't mean to hurt the people that stepped forward. I, of course, apologized. I was genuinely sincere. I retired my burlesque career because in repentance of the hurt that I had caused the community and how much wrong I had been seen as of being a terrible monster and a disgrace. I made things right by changing my life around. I I became somebody better. I distanced myself from not only the troupe, but also the burlesque scene as a whole. I worked on myself. I became a better person. I became more understanding and more alert of how I was treating people, how I was coming off as, and I worked really hard to build my life back up. But I will share with you, there is one very horrible thing that exists within Wisconsin. Um, Nobody likes to talk about it. I'm going to share with you openly about it because it needs to be said. Um, there is a thing known as white supremacy or white privilege. Um, People here up north don't really say much about it, but it exists. Um, if you, for example, in any way, shape, or form, fall out of grace with somebody that just so happens to have white privilege or have power in a community and you wrong them, they will go out of their way to destroy you. They will go out of their way to destroy your reputation, all that you stand for, and they do not care how much damage they do. They hurt you. It is a thing that happens so much, not only within the burlesque community, but within the swinger community, within the kink community. Um, People don't like to see someone who is trying to better themselves and actively show in action that they are a better person and that they've grown from it. They would rather hold a person down to that previous version. And um, after things blew over of my apology and I retired from the burlesque career, Emily Caruso decided to help use her influence um, to not only continue to destroy my career and my standing with people, but it also became a thing where more people were adding on to it, saying that, oh, in my burlesque career, even though I technically didn't know who he was or interacted with him, if depending on if I ever did meet him, I would probably feel the same way that you feel. It became a resurgence that this person was out to continue to destroy my reputation. And burlesque wise, I felt that I still have value and I still have the ability to um, be forgiven and given a second chance if my actions no longer match the previous version of what I was before. So I did get help and I did get counseling and I did become a better person. But every time I tried to further myself, this white privilege kept kicking in. This one person and multiple people decided to continue to gate my ability to try to move on or try to keep doing things in my life. So instead, I didn't let one person and I didn't let one instance ruin my ability to still provide entertainment. So I still do actively dance. They didn't take away my ability to enjoy music. They didn't take away my ability to be creative. And they didn't take away my innovative ability to inspire others to do great things. I still actually actively um, encourage people who tell me that they want to be a burlesque dancer or to do incredible things. I show them, techniques or things that I've learned. I still take the time to be innovative, and I don't let what happened destroy my ability to forgive myself and move forward and still be of worth value. It was so bad of what happened with my reputation being destroyed that my um, people actively spat at me when I went to conventions. I've had my tires slashed. I've had so much hate and anger built towards me that because I didn't have a social media presence or the ability to defend myself, people jumped on that bandwagon. But um, they could not stop my ability to still try to remain positive, um, change my ways, and to now be a better person than I was back then. So my burlesque career, I did enjoy entertaining. I did enjoy being on stage. I enjoyed music. I enjoyed crafting new things. And that hasn't stopped me from being able to still enjoy those things. So it was a burlesque career worth having. And even though it has ended in the spotlight, because I don't ever want to be um, considered the monster that I was labeled to be. I want to be something more, and I want to be able to keep showing that I am a better person and that I have learned the error of my ways and that I no longer follow that path. So it's not active anymore, but I still love burlesque, and I had a good run.
Why don't you advertise at local places of Wisconsin in the community like Dance Life Studio, KGN, Crucible, or Bay Studio 6?
Wow, that's kind of a heavy loaded question. Let me try to break some of that down. So the locations that you mentioned, we're going to tie back into something. So, Belly Dance Studio, that one is ran by Ariel. Um, Ariel was one of the advocators that I am a monster and terrible person, and that I have no place and no value in this world, community, or life. Um, I issued an apology to her since she is the owner of that studio, and I told her I am so very sorry for the pain that I've caused, for the issues that I caused. I am not that person, and I am very sorry. Um, she has not forgiven me. She has not cared to acknowledge me, and she too just so happens to be one of those people that I mentioned where, remember how we talked about that white privilege thing? I recognize that I'm a minority and that I'm a black guy. So I probably have a lot less matter of existence in this world to a lot of people, especially those that are in power that use their white privilege to not care about how people feel. There's going to be some names and owners that I'm going to be dropping that have used their white privilege to not care about those who have changed their ways to be a better person. She is one of them. Um, she placed a ban on me to never come back by telling me that if I ever come on her property, that the police would be called and that I would be arrested. Respectfully, I was totally understanding of that. I got the message that I was not welcome there, so that was fine. I found it a little bit odd, though, that after trying to make an amends and apologize, that it wasn't accepted and she just didn't care. And I was fine with that. That same place is exactly where KGN is held. The leader of that group, Mina, she is one who I many years went to KGN. Many years went to the Belly Dance Studio, actually. Mina was one that brought to my attention that there were people in the community that didn't like me, that didn't like what I stood for, that didn't like the way that I interacted with others, and she brought it to my attention that it's best for me to take a break from going to KGN. I told her that I totally understood if there is any social awkwardness of me not fitting into the mold of what's been set, that I apologize, that I'm not sure what's going on, but anybody that I have unintentionally wronged, I'm sorry for. Kinky Game Night is huge within the community, and after she brought it to my attention, I was understanding to take a break from that. Thereafter, since Ariel owns Belly Dance Studio, she banned me from the building. I also knew that meant I was banned from that place. So I got that people didn't like me and that I wasn't liked in the community, and I needed to change. So I started to work on myself, understandably so. I went to the Crucible multiple times over. That actually became where my burlesque career took off, as well as this other one that I used to work for Mercury Stardust ran it. So when the burlesque thing happened, Emily Crusoe was tied in well with the owners of the Crucible, Greg and Jason. Greg and Jason, they began to ignore emails of communication with me when I was running shows there. And it got so bad to a point where I literally had to show up and find out what's happening, and then I had to ask owners, and they felt that it wasn't important to talk to me or relay any information to me. And
I told them that was fine. I just wanted to find out if we were able to run another show there, and because the last one was successful, what's going on. They just didn't feel that I was worthy of their time of day, that I didn't matter. So, when the burlesque thing happened, and my apology went out, and I was trying to make amends with people, and trying to right my wrongs, because I am not the type of person who can be told to be enemy number one for everything and then not try to make things right. I wanted to find out if I was still set to be able to at least go to the Crucible. To still at least be able to go in the building. So I sent multiple messages to Jason and Greg. I placed multiple phone calls. They were always out. After a couple of months of trying to find out if I was even allowed to be there, because I don't want to cause any problems and I don't want to cause any issues for anybody. I just wanted to know if, because their ties with Emily Caruso had me banned, and they sided with what she was saying of me being a menace and a threat and terrible thing to society, if that was the case, I just wanted to be told if I was actually banned from this place or not. So I was honestly just openly asking them that question multiple times over, and I never got a response. Then I realized that I'm not important enough to be responded to. And what they're doing is waiting for me to make an appearance, to be able to show up, find out that I am banned once I try to appear, and then kick me out to enforce the ban, but not tell me that the ban is in place until I actually get there. So that I seem like the bad guy, and that I seem like the person that's creating a disturbance. I'm not important enough to be told. There were multiple times that I felt that because I am a minority, that I am black, I am not important enough to these people that have such white privilege to matter enough to respond to a simple question of whether or not I'm allowed there or not. So instead, I was like, I'm not going to be another statistic. I'm not going to be just another person that just shows up. Suddenly people are like wondering what the hell is going on, and this person is being aggressively shoved out and kicked out when it's not always the case. Sometimes you literally have to find out what is going on by going to the establishment and seeing, hey, if I'm actually banned, I'll leave. Can I just know what's going on? Sometimes you have to do that. But rather than doing that, I was like, no, I'm not. And I realized if anybody watching this has gone to the Crucible, in the very back of the area where the performers get things done and they change, there's a poster of a black guy who has a hat and he has a coat. And it says, sometimes you have to cry through your tears to smile. I never understood what that poster really meant until the more I thought about it. The more I realized the reason why he's smiling through his tears is because he's having to fight through all the injustice of the world around him and still try to hold it together when people are pushing him down and people are pushing him away and making him feel like an outcast. And he's dressed so nice because he's not trying to let the world bring him down to rags. And I realized that there's a reason why that poster speaks volumes, but people just ignore it. And then I realized that these people are just like the owners. They just don't care about the minorities or the people that are going there. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm done supporting that business, and I'm just going to call it quits on that thing. Bay Studio 6 is, honestly, I don't have a lot of information about it. There was a really cool DJ by the name of Spike. Bald guy, really cool. He does rope work, and he's just like badass. Like he's a hero. Hero to me. I mean, I don't even know how he even feels about me, but the last time I learned a lot from him, and he just really seemed like a chill guy. he I don't know if he runs Space Studio 6, but it's like I didn't know enough about that studio to be able to advertise, but I do know that there has been so much bad blood that has happened between myself and a lot of the parts of those communities that I just I don't feel accepted, and I don't feel like I matter. I feel like a lot of it also is because of my race, a lot of who I am as a person, and changing and evolving from the different issues that have happened, but also the people in power not open to giving the second chance nor care enough about an existence of a small, minute person like me to matter. So the reason why I don't advertise at those places except Bay Studio 6, because I got love for them, is because of their own personal vendettas against me and the issues that once a person is banned, a person is banned for life, regardless of how they change and regardless of how they evolve. Because I have not tried to support those businesses, realizing that it's the white privilege that they have that keeps them in power and play to not care about what happens to minorities like me or people like me or anything. So that's why I don't advertise at those. Instead, I usually do my advertising through Facebook or through the Kink site, but word of mouth too. I realize that my local community has evolved into something very poisonous and very toxic and very gatekeeping, to where they feel like people like me don't matter. And if a specific race or a specific type of person don't matter, then it shows just how corrupt these places have truly become here.
Do you people take unauthorized pictures at your events?
No, but I do know where that comes from. So up in the Appleton area, we used to have events there, and there was um, some of our volunteer staff thought to be able to help promote people and actions and stuff that was happening there. When it was brought to my attention, and I didn't know that that was allowed to take place or that it had to take place, I shut it down. We don't do that, and we apologize to those who had to um, deal with that. I'm going to squash that rumor right now by saying that the only pictures we now take, like at our DTF events, are of staff. Like, we take our staff photo to begin the night, but we don't take pictures of the attendees because we respect privacy. And then the pictures that we take at our conventions, we have literally in the photo area. So like those are consensual. People know about those. Like those we share. Um, but no, I know that incident spurred a lot of controversy and a lot of scarcity and a lot of people being afraid that we take pictures just willy-nilly of everything. No, we don't even allow phones to be in the play area or in the area where things are happening because of wanting to respect people's privacy. Like, we even get like requests for videos to be recorded. We barely even try to do that. So no, you don't have to worry about your privacy at our event being conveyed in picture format like that. No, that was something that was squashed. Learned our lesson. We do apologize to those that had to go through that happening, but no, we don't do that.
Why did your hotel floor become kink lifestyle conventions?
So sorry, I'm going to readjust real quick. So I've been to multiple hotel floor takeovers. I've been to multiple hotel takeovers. A lot of them kind of just offer the same thing, where you get a room at the place and you have the ability to meet the hostess, and then after that, it is up to you to mix and mingle and be with people of the floor and hope to God that you're able to get some, or hope to God you're able to make an impression on somebody worthy enough to care about your existence for paying for their room. And then later on in the night, you get like a snack table. And that's basically it. That's all you get. Like, they evolved from that to now having like dinners where you can you get food, you get fed. But then after that, they have like group rooms for you to be able to enjoy time in and stuff. But other than that, it's still kind of basically up to you. Like, good luck to you trying to make a social impression on someone big enough to be able to take them back to your room or for you to be able to do anything. It's like more dependent on you. And there's not really a lot of activities that are happening. That also has evolved over time to where, like, now some rooms will have, like, say, for example, as I mentioned earlier, Dirty Jenga, where it's like a game you can socialize and bond over with people where it's not so dependent on your skills, but more of like an outing. Well, we took that model and we took a look at it and we like kind of slapped a couple of more colors on it. So we added purple, yellow, red, blue, green, violet, teal, cyan, I guess depending on what country you're in. We made it to where it is not just a hotel floor takeover. It's not just a hotel takeover. Now we give you badges. We give you lanyards. We give you the ability to enjoy panels or classes, like the ability to work on your intellect of what you're going through in life so you can be a better person. We improve you as a whole. We have room parties. We now have like Rock Band, Dirty Jenga, Cards Against Humanity. We actually have outlets for you to enjoy that are not just sexual. We also added the ability for like main event programming stuff, like doing hello cat, doing things like a burlesque show, for example, or like Quidditch games, or like we made it to where there's even vendors, so you can be able to buy wares and buy different things. We turned it from just being a basic block of hotel floor takeover to being a full-on convention. Like, it's still mini and it's still small, but it's a convention now that you can attend and get more bang for your buck versus just hoping to bang and getting nowhere. So we wanted to give these to you. We wanted to give you freedom, a meal, vendors to be able to visit, ribbons, badges, like group rooms, of course. But there is so much more that we provide in our convention form than we ever did before. And we now are at a point where we invite everybody to come join and attend with here in Wisconsin a actual convention that literally changes throughout the year. So it is like our theme is different almost every 2 months. That is huge compared to having to go out of state just for a dang convention that's like kink friendly. So that is why with so many growth and so many options that we give to people now, we have gone from just small to what everybody else is doing to this level of premium status of being a convention to stand alone and being Wisconsin's, I say, wonderful conventions that happen regularly. Like, we are number one in our field because there's no one else out there doing it. No one else out there trying to kill it. No one else out there trying to provide this type of experience that we got. So that's why we stand out, and it's time for us to grow and be amazing and just let it blossom all over the place.
How does it feel to be a Black person in Wisconsin?
There was a time in my life when I felt proud. Now I feel scared. Now I feel like my existence doesn't matter. Now I feel like people look at me differently. It's not from the experiences that life has shaped me to be, but it's also from how people look at me differently. How sometimes a request from somebody who is like me, African American, will be ignored versus somebody else who is of a different color being accepted. Even at my workplace of Land's End, I was there for 14 years. Things were getting rocky, actually, when it came down to our person who cared, our department leader, had to leave because she was going blind. I remember one day that really solidified things for me being there was after she had went blind and she had left.
this was an experience that was kind of a little bit further back, but during the George Floyd incident, they were having the trial for George Floyd, and I mentioned to my other group lead that, hey, I need to go home. I need to go be with my family. This is very important to me. You might not understand what it's like to see someone of your color be gunned down, but I need to go be there with those that I care about. And my workplace was like, we can let you go if you're okay using some of your time off. If you're okay with using some of your hours. Otherwise, we can't let you go. I was like, fuck Land's End. Fuck these people. And fuck what's happening right now. I realized that I was just a statistic and I was just another person. I ended up actually having to leave the company because of a conversation that I had with the boss after the person I really looked up to left because she was going blind. When I walked into their office, before I walked into their office, I was actually just standing outside the door about to go in, and I heard this deep, dark voice. We don't need another dumb black kid here. We got plenty of these J1 students. Let him go. And the other guy was on the inside. I was like, well, wait, can't we just give him some other options? And the other deep voice was like, no, we don't need more of his people here. Just let him go. And I remember hearing that, and I was like, okay, I know how this is possibly going to go. So the door opens up, and the big burly guy that had the deep voice just comes walking out and is like, hey. And then the other guy, who was the one that I came there to talk to, was like, hey, how you doing, Joshua? It's so good to see you today. Then I realized the same face that he was making is technically what you would consider the friendly customer service face. So many people will actually make that face and raise their vocals when they don't actually want to talk with you and care about your existence. And that has happened to me multiple times throughout my experience here in Wisconsin. I will say that up here in the north, there have been a lot more friendly people. That not everybody is corrupted and not everybody looks down on you. But there are times when your race specifically gets in the way of you getting hired if you have a strong black name. If they, for example, have enough people to fill their tax quota as a company. And if, for example, say people don't like you that just so happen to have white privilege, they will poison your name. They will ruin your reputation. And they know that you may not have the resources to defend yourself, and they will shut you out. They will make you feel terrible. They will get people to rally against you. They will make it to where you don't have a chance, that nobody will give a shit if you commit suicide. That's how bad it gets up here. As much as I love Wisconsin, I will admit there have been so many acts of white privilege that happen up here that people make you feel sick, that it's better that you just die. That is how horrible people make you feel when they know you can't defend yourself. And they know that you can't see what they're posting and what they're rallying against you. And the next thing you know, people egg your house. So I will say that Wisconsin, in some parts, are a wonderful place. In some parts, it's not.
How has the Me Too movement affected your online reputation?
I will say that there are a lot of good things that are said about you as a person and as your reputation grows, for better or for worse. And for those that you wrong, for those that are your past lovers, that are those that are your past people that you cared about that for whatever reason left your side, they will say things about you. They will say things online.
They will say horrible things about you if they see you succeed. And if they can have an effect on your life even after they're gone, they will try to ruin your life. The Me Too movement, I believe, has done some wonderful things and some powerful, great things. And I wholeheartedly believe that people coming forward through their trauma and through things they've gone through is important. Where I feel that the Me Too movement has started to backslide a bit is if, say, for example, you don't like someone and you see they're succeeding or you see them moving on with life, so you say something about them and you start rumors and you start allegations, but you also know that they can't defend themselves. You also know that they can't post anything, and you also know that they have not the same resources that you have. So you can spread through word of mouth and that you can do more damage knowing that they can't defend themselves. And people will jump on the Me Too movement by saying that, oh I've not met that person, but yeah, I agree with you on that. Or like, I had a similar experience with it and I think so too. And then someone's like, I feel that way too, and I feel that way too, and me too, me three, me four, and then it just grows. And then the Me Too movement becomes one of those things that no one bothers to check what actually happened. People get so wrapped up in what one person is saying, other people agreeing with it, that no one bothers to actually check the facts of it. And I've had people come to me and say, you're a terrible person. You deserve to die. You are a leech on society. Our world would be a better place without you. And I go, well, what do you mean? And they go like, well, I don't know the full story, but I heard this. I've seen this. I don't care what your side of the story is. If so many people are saying this about you, it must be true. Fuck your side of the story. You're a horrible person. Drop dead. I've had people leave my life because of what they read online or what they felt happened and decided that my side of the story doesn't even matter. What matters is not the source of what's causing it, but the fact that it's out there. It must be true. If so many people are saying it, it must be true. But for some reason, when it comes to what actually happened, no one knows where that originated from, and no one knows if it's actually still being done now. But it's like buying into the ability of not actually caring about that person as an individual or what they're actually doing of their current actions, but being able to pin that version that's created onto them and say it's the real them, even if you know who they are and you know what they're about, but you still see that previous version. That kind of toxicity was brought to you by the Me Too movement, because you're adding to the fire of drama and issues without actually looking into what's going on. But if that person is warning everybody and is saying that this person is a terrible person, stay away from them, and they're breeding as much hate as they can, if they have that power privilege or they have that ability to influence you and your thoughts by seeing it online, to convince you to where you trying to go to that source to find out what actually happened doesn't matter anymore, that's the Me Too movement spiraling backwards to be able to help feel things and make you unaware or ignorant of what's actually happening or going on, to be able to find out the truth for yourself. Like I said, I've had people say that, hey, I heard this about you and it must be true. Don't explain to me what happened. Just go to hell. Just die. I'm not going to think for myself. I'm not going to think about what happened. Just go die. Kill yourself. Do society a favor. You don't matter. Just die. I've had people of my own staff tell me that. People that are no longer in my life. People that didn't care to hear my side of the story. They just would rather have me just dead because my existence doesn't matter to them. Somebody else's story, somebody else's ideas, someone else posting whatever they like, knowing that I can't see it, it's more important. So I can say I support the Me Too movement, but I also encourage individual thought. If you hear something about someone or say some or hear something said about someone, go to that person and get the truth side of the story. Don't just believe everything that you hear and everything that you see, because a lot of people, their actions of how they are today and what they're doing differently might actually be the version of themselves. People make mistakes in the past and things happen, but you should never rely on secondary sources and secondary news just because a person's of political power, just because someone is higher up, or even, like I said, white privilege is a thing. So I honestly say that it's for good or bad. It just depends on what the Me Too movement is being used for.
Why are your other communities flourishing outside of Wisconsin?
You know, Wisconsin has the most history with me of a person growing from how I was to being naive and stupid and still learning to the adult that I am today. And the adult that I am today took many, many years, but Wisconsin has been home to me. I have also, like I said, created a lot of people who hate me, a lot of people that resent me, and a lot of people that try to breed as much hatred towards my success. Um, Humans, demons, werewolves, vampires, whatever have you, from all forms and walks of life, have appreciated the fact that the person that I am today and the lessons that I have learned along the way to be a better person of who I am is not defined by my past or my past actions. I would say that the other states and other areas have recognized me for being the person that I am, the person who I choose to be, the person that I receive therapy for, counseling for, that I became a better, updated version of myself for the world and community overall. Um, I would say even if, even if the other areas outside of where we are here in Wisconsin, as their own communities build and flourish, my reputation and my name, I still defend it by the actions that I take and the ideals that I set for myself in life. But I do have a lot of people that still view me in a negative light, and those people hold positions of power that continue to try to bring me down and try to lower my success and try to lower my happiness. So I will say that they flourish because I have encouraged and built strong communities based off of the people that are there and by their will to be able to do great things. Wisconsin is no exception. Our numbers continue to still rise within the HOA, even within Wisconsin, wherever have you. But I will say that there is much hatred and anger towards me from a lot of people, and a lot of people that are even watching this as I speak. And to those that would rather see me destroyed, decapitated, or hated by people, I will share with you this. I am genuinely and very sorry for the pain that I have caused you. And so much so that it is harbored, it is fueled, and it is shared with people who don't even know me, but would rather continue to feel the pain that you feel. And for that, and for the wrong that I've caused you, I am genuinely sorry. I want the world to flourish. I want communities to remain strong, and I want the best for everyone in life. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart for everyone.
Have you ever thought of moving, and if so, why not?
Wow. Well, this is going to sound a little mean, but depending on the state, I guess. So, Minnesota is currently on fire and it's not safe really for a lot of people to be there right now. I thought about moving to Minnesota, but not only is it to where the George Floyd event happened, but it also just I want things to be calm, and I don't really want to move to a place where I have to be in fear of my life. I thought of moving to Illinois, but it's like, even though that place is specifically built for minorities, the taxes and the tolls and prices on everything is so high, you don't really get by in life, like even just trying to survive off a basic job. I don't like that you have to pay tolls everywhere, but I also understand why they exist because of roads and stuff, so I don't like paying tolls. Like, I pay tolls, but I just don't like them. I thought of moving to Iowa, but it's like I like Iowa, and I do have a lot of people there. But even with the hang-ups and the experiences I've had here in Wisconsin, Wisconsin still has been my home. It's been like a home base for me. I'm not originally from here, as you can tell, cause obviously, but I would say that I cannot easily just move to another place. Reason why I don't want to move also is because I know you've heard a lot through this interview of me saying through things. And I know that the places that I've mentioned, the Crucible, Kinky Game Night, Bailey Dance Studio, the communities and the people that have ousted me and made me feel worthless and made me feel like an outcast because I'm not socially able to keep up with them, because my existence doesn't matter fast enough to try to convince everybody that I'm a good guy and to try to prove everybody wrong. I don't want anyone else to feel how I feel when it feels like I'm worthless, like I don't matter, that I'm just another statistic, and that nothing in my life will be good enough to be redeemed worthy of mattering in anybody else's life but mine. I don't want anybody else to have to go through what I have gone through, of being public enemy number one, of being hated. Even for all the good that I've done and for all the happiness and things that I have brought in joy for this world, to know that I don't matter because people say that I don't matter and that I should be removed from existence. I don't want anybody to ever feel like that. And I don't want to run away from those that are spewing nothing but hatred towards me. And I don't want to give up on those that have dreams and goals in life and want to do something with their worlds too. I don't want to give up on the people here, and I want to continue to represent a safe haven for those that are outcasts like me. I feel like a lot of the times when I have been trying to stand my ground on my beliefs of building things and getting things going, I feel a lot like Lucifer, where even with your best intentions and even with the good in your heart, people will find a way to downplay you like you're just nothing, that you're just worthless, and that you deserve to be cast out. I don't want to ever have anybody feel like that. I care about people way too much, and I've changed a lot of how I am as a human being. So I'm not going to just give up. And I feel like there is another person who is a minority out there who feels the same pain that I do, of overcoming the fact that you are a different skin color from everybody else around you, that you can still matter and that you still have importance in this world. That's why I have not moved, and that's why I refuse to give up.
Are you a bad guy or monster?
No. And I am sorry that I don't live up to the hype of what people have tried to picture me to be or peg me to be or want me to be. I have done bad things, and I am so sorry for everything that I've done wrong in this world to anybody. I mean that. But, just because you're a bad guy does not make you a bad guy. Wreck-It Ralph taught me that. Even if the world paints you to be a bad guy, do not be a bad guy. Don't let people bring you down. No matter what you do in this world, for better or for worse, do not let people bring you down to be a bad guy just because you're seen as one. I have learned that, and I have learned that if I am a monster and that I am so evil, I can be good, and I can infect everyone around me to be a good person. So, I guess I do feel like for all the good that I do in this world, that it's never enough to make up for the wrong that I've done in this world. But I will still keep trying, and even if people still see me as a bad guy, even after watching this, I will go down saying that I am very sorry that people still feel hurt, and that there is still acceptance and love in my heart for their hatred towards me. Now, before we continue though, I just want to do a time check because I don't know how long I've been talking, but how long are we at for video right now?
1 hour, 11 minutes.
Okay, really quick, we're gonna pause, and I'm doing this because you need a break. So I know you've been listening to me and you're enjoying this, and this is epic, but let's pause and we will be right back after these short commercial messages appearing on your screen now. Okay.